All right, Mason, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Um, this is our appraisal project. Uh, this is the subject house. It is a single-family home at 113 Hillcrest Circle in Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay, I am Megan Bean, and I'll be talking about our market analysis. So Greenville County population is about 520,000 people, and it's the sixth largest metropolitan area with the third biggest real estate market, and it has a relatively young population and a highly educated population as well. The median rent is about $1,200, and the average days on the market is 59, so it has a pretty active real estate market.
My name is Bo Blanton. I'm going to talk to you all about the amenities and resources near our subject house. It is close to downtown Greenville, just a short walk or short drive. It is close to elementary schools and high schools. The airport is a quick drive away, about 13 miles. There's plenty of other amenities in downtown Greenville, such as the Clemson One building that has a bunch of master's programs taught there, and the Greenville Memorial Hospital is fairly close as well.
All right, I'm Alex. So first recorded sale of the house we have in 99 for measly little 26,000 almost. But what we really want to look at is in the last about 5 years, it's changed hands twice and obviously on the market again. There was a renovation in 2017 before the house was sold, which is why we see a big jump. From 2 years, the price of the house went from $130,000 to $437,500.
Our 6 comparable properties are all within the Greenville area. The cheapest one being $495,000 and the most expensive one being $730,000. The oldest sold comparable that we have was back in 2017, and the most recent is here in 2020. Most of them are 4-bed, 4-bath, or 3-bed, 4-bath, somewhere around there. And most are near 2,000 to 4,000 square feet.
I'm Brendan, and like Bo said, we try to keep all of our comparables pretty close in size and livable space. So square footage being the largest mediator, we simply took the price per square foot of each of the comparables, multiplied by the difference to bring that price up. For bedrooms and bathrooms, we only have one comparable that wasn't 4-bed, 4-bath. So we did some research, found the national average added to a home for an extra bathroom was roughly $21,000. For an extra bedroom, it was roughly $35,000. That research was in 2013. So after adjusting for inflation, we estimated the updated increases in value to a home to be $24,000 for each bathroom and $40,000 for each bedroom. The average value for an acre of land in South Carolina is roughly $20,000. But South Carolina is mostly rural. It's an agricultural state. And since Greenville's a high demand suburban land, we decided to multiply that $20,000 price tag per acre by 1.5 to about $50,000 per acre, which is more accurate for an area like Greenville. And that was how we found our lot size price differences. On average, a home's value decreases 0.2% each decade, which doesn't seem like much. And the reason for that is properties are constantly being renovated, updated building materials. So we took the difference between the year each home was built, divided that number by 10 to give us decades, and then multiplied that number by our 0.2% depreciation to the sales price for each comparable. For garages, we had a whole slew of whether or not they had attached, detached, or no garage in our comparables. So our research found that on average, the cost of an attached 2-car garage is roughly $20,000, and the cost of a detached garage is roughly $25,000. That's when putting in the garage, and you receive about an 80% return on investment when you go to sell your home for garages. So we took that 80%, multiplied by our two averages, and added or subtracted to each comparable whether or not they had an attached, detached, or no garage. For distance from the central business district, we found that for every 1% closer a property is to the CBD, the property becomes 0.1% more valuable, which seems relatively small, but when you multiply that 0.1% by hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is what the homes are selling for, it really adds up. So we found the percentage differences in distance from the CBD of our subject and comparable properties and divided these percentages by 10 to achieve the 10-to-1 ratio of 1% to 0.1. And then this was multiplied by the sales price for homes to yield the true effect of distance from the CBD. And finally, for the market's effect, because we had a few homes that were sold a few years ago, on average, the real estate market increases roughly 4% per year. Since a lot of these homes were sold within the last year, that wasn't a big deal, but for the 2 or 3 that weren't, we divided the days since sale by 365 to get your annual mark there, multiply that by the 4%, and then again multiplied by the sale price to replicate the market's effect. And just as a disclaimer, obviously the 4% is an average, and the real estate market's been very volatile in recent years, so there's a little bit of margin of error there, but for the most part, it averages out nicely.
All right, so this is Alex again, and next we use the cost approach. And what we did was we used the cost to build website, and putting in all the details of our house, we got an estimated replication cost of just a little bit over $403,000. Using this, we had an average life of the house of 60 years, so we estimated the depreciation per year and then multiplied that by 3 years because our house was just completely renovated in 2017, so everything is pretty new. So 3 years of depreciation, that took us to about just a little over 20,000. So the depreciated cost was then just almost $383,500. And then we added back the estimated value of the land by using the average value per acre in South Carolina, and then using the acreage that our subject property sits on to add that back, and that came out to $2,700. So our indicated value by the cost approach came out to be $386,135.20.
So there was 2 different methods under the income approach, and this first one is direct capitalization. So we used the monthly rental estimate from Zillow of $1,823 to get the annual potential gross income of about $22,000. And then we deducted the operating expenses, vacancy and collection losses to find the net income using estimates again from Zillow and apartment property valuations. And then we used the cap rate from apartment property valuations and divided the net operating income by that capitalization rate to get our final estimate of $266,118.52. The other method under the income approach was the discounted cash flow method. And so we used a holding period of 10 years and then used that net operating income and then the discount rate, which was also from apartment property valuations, to get the total cash flows. And then the price estimate was the total present value of those cash flows, which was $318,809.64. So our final reconciliation was $488,099.76, and that was a total of all of the different approaches using their appropriate weights. And we weighted the sales approach most heavily at 60% because it's the main determinant in house sales, and there were many close comparables that were beneficial in determining the value. And then the cost approach had 30% because the house was fully renovated in 2017, so the cost of the house was very relevant to its current value. And the income approaches each had 5% because the house was not used for rentals, so its income generating power really was not as important in determining the final value.
This is Ryan Rock, and I'm going to talk about the impact of the COVID-19 virus. Some of the challenges we face with the virus is obviously to mitigate the spread of the virus. And to do that, a lot of people are staying at home. A lot of states are ordering a stay-at-home mandate. And kind of a byproduct of that, people staying at home, is a recession in the economy. A lot of people are unemployed, and a lot of small businesses are barely scraping by in this time. So some of the similarities and differences to the 2008 financial crisis, many Americans are losing money, similar to the 2008 crisis. One difference I found was obviously back in 2008, there's a lot of criminal activity or fraud kind of behind the scenes, and I don't believe that to be true for this virus. I think the virus causing people to stay at home is the cause to the recession. So for our product, or for our appraisal project, we did Greenville, South Carolina, and so the economy being down, a lot of the like on average, the house prices will be down in the nation or throughout the nation, but a lot of business hubs, kind of like Greenville, I don't think will feel the impact of this as bad as some more like rural areas. Kind of my reasoning behind that is a lot of business hubs have people with salaried jobs rather than working hourly. And I think that people working hourly are the ones that are going to be hit the hardest during this time. So the government recently signed the CARES Act, which kind of was a $2.1 trillion stimulus into the economy. And funds went to a number of different things, such as direct payments to Americans, some small business loans to help those businesses that are barely scraping by, and some corporate loans. So the virus kind of came onto the forefront of our attention. It kind of came on quick. But if we work together and keep our head down, we'll be able to beat it, and our economy, I believe, will bounce back strong.
All right. As a group, we reflected and discussed the strengths of our appraisal analysis, and we decided that the fairly recent renovation and the sale of the property allowed for a more accurate appraisal. We thoroughly researched the background information on the property and the Greenville real estate market, which was very useful in our analysis. The approaches that we use are proven methods for house appraisals, and they supplied multiple different perspectives. And we decided that the weaknesses of our appraisal analysis, weaknesses include the estimates of variables such as operating costs, expenses, and sales adjustments may be inaccurate. The weight of each may affect the final reconciled value if those are off just a little bit. The cost of renovations could be off, which would also influence the value. COVID-19 could have more influence in the market that is not measurable currently. We're not going to know until this kind of winds down, and we see once the market picks back up and more properties are bought and sold, we'll get a feel for how the market is doing more so. Just the overall volatility of the economy is a great weakness to our analysis. The market has been up and down 5-10% on any given day. In all sectors, not just the indexes, which is it's a wild time. We haven't seen times like this in a while. And if the data were available, we'd like to perform analysis into the effects of the coronavirus on real estate values to get a more realistic estimate of the property value in the current economic market climate.